Oh, hold on 2 seconds. That's not the right screen I wanted to share. And Mickey, we are live. You're supposed to be vamping, right?
We're vamping. We're live. Podcast.
Watermelon.
Yeah, watermelon.
Oh,
Watermelon.
you know what? I guess I don't need to share it because we don't have any transitions or anything
Rubble,
crazy.
rubble, rubble.
There we go. All right. Oh, well, if you are watching, we do have Misanthropic Wes with us. Breadstick time. Thanks, no good goodie.
Right out the gate.
Right out, yeah. So Wes, you probably haven't seen some of our. Oh yeah, you have. You watched like we changed the unlimited breadsticks, and then all of our points are breadsticks as well. So anyway, as we can see, Jared's not here, so we're gonna have to make do without him. He got some new parts for his computer, which did not work out well. So we're kind of
He was a tinkering.
he was having some problems. So let's just get started, and we're gonna wing it today. So Wes, why don't you catch us up, man? What have you been up to?
Yeah. So what's we got for us?
Yeah. What's in Wes's world?
That hardly seems relevant.
Yes, dudes and dudettes,
yeah, I'm still
Major
working
League
in
Butt
development
Kicking
for
is
this,
back in town.
serious
Yeah.
Not even games. Used to be some kind of like games, but serious games. But now it's just like straight up training, law enforcement, military training, some things. For a while there was doing a lot of things for the Air Force at a certain job. And then it changed a little bit. But now it seems like it might be going back that direction.
So
That's still where a lot of money's being spent in VR.
yeah, so I mean, has it gotten any cooler than? I mean, are you guys working with what is it, the Apple one, or is that not worthy?
I think it's just too fresh and probably too expensive also. Um, this
Yeah,
is basically one of those situations where you're selling a whole like turnkey solution. Like you're not working with organizations that have a technical side already. They do their thing. It might be a police department. They don't have a games unit. Right.
they
There's
should.
like
There should be a games
there's
unit.
yeah, there's just like some old, Windows 98 machines or some shit that they run their stuff on, probably not really Windows XP. Let's be generous. But yeah, so what they expect when they go to, shop for this newfangled kind of training and stuff is for you to take care of everything for them. They really have no clue what it is. So what they expect is that you'll actually sell them PCs and headsets as if they're coming from your company. So we basically buy machines, PCs, fully built and configure them ourselves and put these travel kits together like in a sturdy Pelican brand case.
So
That's
basically,
got,
you dumb
the
it
whole
down
kit.
for them, pretty much.
Mm,
So they
I mean, yeah,
so
we try
they
to
get
make
more
it as
plug
easy
and
as
play.
possible.
Yeah.
The thing is, you have to keep in mind that this is a period of transition from people who are, they're not professional computer or anything. They're professional trainers, right? They're instructors that provide this training to law enforcement and military personnel, and that's their thing, and that's been their thing for years, presumably. And so to transition from, they see the value in being able to use the digital tools to do it, but it's not going to work. Like it's a deal breaker if it's going to be a whole thing. Like if they need a whole course on how to do it. It's got to be easy, as portable as possible, just kind of turnkey.
Cool.
So yeah,
So
it literally comes in a kit, and you
Hmm.
take it out and you set it up, and there it is.
you don't have one with you, do you? We can look at it.
No, because I don't need like the kit to develop on. I just need a regular old PC, and I've got a headset here, and I do have some of our weapons, but they're put away. I don't use them every day. But yeah, what we actually, part of our kits that we sell is we take the airsoft version of some of the real guns, which are based on the real guns. Basically, they buy the shells and everything from Glock or whoever, and then they modify the firing mechanism stuff so it shoots the airsoft thing. So we take those and then modify them so they shoot nothing basically, but they have a spot for one of the HTC trackers to magnetically attach, and then we just wire up the trigger mechanism. You know, we have mechanical engineers also who like make 3D printed accessories and things like that, so that basically we have real guns. You use them in VR and then they map to the space. There's very few situations I've come across where at least for law enforcement, they're at all interested in using the controller of the gun headsets. Like it's not, they don't want that at all. Like it's gun shaped or nothing.
Cool.
We even have tasers and pepper spray and flashlights and things like that.
So they're like, they look like legit PC, like even the taser. So how does it show the shooting of the taser in the VR simulation? You just hit the trigger and it just triggers the animation on the screen. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, actually, it's not even an animation in the sense that it's canned. I mean, it actually shoots two projectiles, and if they don't both hit, then it doesn't shock the person. So
now, outside of work, have you reskinned any of them to be like giant Goombas that you shoot, or anything, anything super, randomly fun?
Yeah, no, we don't generally find the time to do that kind of stuff. Probably the most fun we have though is just when things screw up, and I know there was this one bug we had where involved the taser, because the taser causes them to do like a shock animation, and then we have like ragdoll effects where the character will like fall down.
Right.
Anytime you do that and physics gets involved, crazy stuff can happen. So there was this for a while in our application when you would use the taser, you could like have like 10 characters standing around, and if you shot one with a taser, they'd all start to fly around like they were dementors, as we called it, the dementor bug. They would like, it's like they were balloons with holes in them. They were all over the place. It was amazing.
Amazing.
That's
I don't
cool.
know.
One of the funniest bugs I've seen in a game, but can't really share it.
It's all good, man. All right. So outside of the cool job that you have, or is it you enjoy it? I guess you've been doing it for a long time now. What are you playing video game wise outside of work?
So
Christmas
I
time.
tried something.
I'm
trying something different this year. Yeah. I'm trying something different, and then I'm actually tracking like my currently playing and my next up and kind of things like that. I've never done that. I've always just kind of winged it. But I've realized that I was in the middle of a bunch of games, and so many of them I couldn't really keep track. That I really did want to finish, but I just can't even remember which one I'm in the middle of. And then there's way too many to start. So I actually started keeping this categorized list on Trello, right? Like a Kanban board type of thing. So I've got an up next column and an in progress column that has a limit on it, so that if it gets over full, then I'm not allowed to start a new game. So it's kind of like stop starting, start finishing kind of a thing.
So you're,
or else I'll never get through them.
What are you playing now? What is on the top of that list?
Yeah, so what on the top of the in progress list is Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, which is, it's like a Hades clone almost.
I think I bought that one for Riker for Christmas. I haven't started it yet. Is it good?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we should play it together.
Well, I have to tell you what not to play, because I bought him 2 Turtles games this year, and one of them was the arcade version, and it like the controls are effing terrible. Like have you played that one?
I know of it.
It's based off like
Considered
the what was it, 2004 version. You know what I'm talking about. So the one with Seth Green. Who plays Leonardo? Anyway, what's weird is like you can hit people, like it's just like on the arcade game, but you can start hitting people, but then there's like this delay or this cooldown time. So you just stand there, and I'm trying to like fight people like a normal Turtles game. Like you just keep going and you can't do it. I'm like, what? I hate it. I hate it so much. It's just not.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
mean,
fun.
I pay attention to all of the Turtles games that come out, but most of them aren't very well received. So
Yeah, well, I wish it was better, but yeah, we'll play. I'll try to see if I can get them off that arcade one because I hate it with a passion. It's not fun. So I'll switch
negative dreaming.
Yeah, I'll split to or switch to the Splintered Fate that I got them. We got a ton of chat though. Lego says, "Do you f around and find out by using company IP for personal use?" Because he does security stuff for companies like that. So he's just laughing because it's anyway. And then Top of West List is kicking my ass at Pinball Effects. So I don't know if you've heard about that, but we do have a pretty heated competition on Pinball Effects. You played that, right?
Yeah, I've played that off and on.
So you need to join. I mean, if you still have it, I know you have your list of games, but
Yeah,
we talked some serious
not currently on
trash.
But yeah,
And
I don't know. You guys realize how much better Handsome Tom is at pinball than average.
No. Scott has beaten some of my scores. I just haven't had time to catch up. So we keep
Okay.
just one-upping each other. And I still think I have half the high scores. Thank you for bringing that up, Scott. Yeah, dude, you need to hop on. We've got we got another guy who's great at the ones that are modeled after like original machines. I haven't played those ones yet, but he's like ranked like 50, out of the top list or something ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, so we'll have to play Turtles. That's awesome. And then I guess Mickey, what have you been up to lately? We haven't had a podcast in a month, so we're kind of catching up a little bit.
Oh,
You beat
not
Squirrel with a
much.
gun, which was pretty fun. Like I know
No,
I
I didn't beat the game. That was like literally the first boss. There's like a boat I can unlock now. There's like a lot more.
Okay, well, I
So,
didn't know that. So
we'll
you
pick that
got to
up on
keep
stream.
streaming there. I've been playing Mortal Kombat 1. I know I'm a year late to that game, but they just had an update that has Conan the Barbarian. It's pretty badass, and it was free. So I was like, oh man, I don't want to spend another $8 on a character, but it turns out it was free.
Clarified. I assumed it was Conan O'Brien.
Do you see Conan? Yeah, he's gonna hit people with what his big forehead and hair.
Old, 2 feet taller than all.
Yeah, I
every
was gonna
character.
say the giant lanky ass dude. That would be. You know what? You should probably submit that. They might have that next time. But I beat the single player. I was like, it's okay. And then I've got this. They have this new. They have seasons like everything else these days. And you start out going through Johnny Cage's house. He's got a penthouse in LA, which is kind of fun. And then, they kind of have the storyline where you have to get keys and unlock things. I'm having more fun with it than I did the main storyline. So there's a crap load to unlock. Mostly skins and sunglasses. Johnny Cage has got different sunglasses you can find or buy. My first initial reaction was I hate it because everything's behind a paywall. And there's nothing to earn. I want to be able to have difficulty to make it worth replaying. And I think this new season, I'm having more fun with it because of that. Instead of being a paywall, I'm like, okay, I have to do this absolutely ridiculous challenge, and then I can unlock something cool. I'm like, perfect. Give me that instead of this paywall garbage. I don't want to cheat. I know some people are chatting about cheating, saying that my settings on Pinball don't trust my scores, but I'm using the standard settings that Pinball FX3 did, and so was Scott. So you can get over bad pants. Thank you, 8-Bit Mickey, for the cheating.
You're
logos.
welcome.
Yeah, that's a dick move. Yeah. So Squirrel with a gun. Are you still doing the Pokemon stuff?
Yeah, I've been playing the card game. It's a lot of fun. They should have a new game coming out this year, so I'm pumped about that.
Pokemon
but
Zero or something.
It's like Legends ZA. It's
There
hopefully
was a
they.
Z in it.
Yeah, it's because it's I think relating to their X and Y game.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know, right? It's making a lot of sense.
Wes, you weren't into Pokemon that much, were you? You were a little bit.
Yeah, back when it was a little fresher, my interest kind of peaked at probably Ruby and Sapphire.
That's a good game.
Yeah, and then kind of fell off after that. Like the ones that came out of that after that for DS, I was like, it doesn't look that great. Um,
The game Legends on the Switch for me was the game I always wanted as
mhm.
a like for Pokemon. You can run. You don't have to battle. You can just run around and catch Pokemon, and it's a lot of fun. So it's just like I just spent hours doing that. So I'm hoping they stick true and do that again.
There we go. I put the stickers on top so people can see it. Jace, Jedi Power Battles is okay. So would you recommend? I don't know, Wes. You know
It
the
was
Jedi.
never good. At no point in time was that game ever good. I don't know
It
why.
was so glitchy.
It
Yeah,
looks so bad. That
it
was
was
like
completely crapped on at the time. I have no idea why
How they
brought it back.
re-released it. Well, I convinced Jace. Jace is he never played the original. I was like, hey man, I wanted to try. Maybe they made it better because I remember this. The soundtrack was perfect. Because I had it on Dreamcast. Dreamcast was less glitchy than the PlayStation. PlayStation, I wanted to burn my PlayStation to the ground, but Dreamcast had a little bit smoother experience. But maybe it's just because I played it a lot. I think that's why, a couch co-op Star Wars game back in the day. So that's why it kind of has a special place, even though it sucks. It's kind of like, some of these NES games are like, everybody hates it. But, that was one of the 6 games that I had. So I'm going to play it again. The new one, not the original. Yeah, no, you saw Jared and I tried to play the original last week, and it was bad. Yeah, multiplayer also kind of sucks, because if one person doesn't jump right, the other person dies. The whole, game mechanic of that. Speaking of which, Switch 2. I wanted to get your impression, your professional opinion on it, Wes.
Overall, I think it's the
Safe?
right move. It was
Yeah.
the right name. I was telling somebody couple weeks ago, as much as I revere Miyamoto, I'm kind of ready for him to let go because
you-
all these years he's been insistent that the only reason to make a new entry in a franchise is if there's some new hardware element to highlight, right? There's just some new synergy there. And that's just not sustainable. That's not going to continue to happen indefinitely. We're already kind of post-hardware, right? In the medium of video games itself is already kind of post-hardware. We're moving more and more towards converging on a unified, more or less solution about what kind of feature set a game's machine has, a device has, and it's amazing too. Like if you would go back, 30 years ago and say, yes, not in 30 years, games machines will be able to do this and this and this and that. They'll have motion control, they'll have IR, they'll have NFC and all this crazy stuff built in. And by the way, they'll all have it. It's not just one of them has one of them, one has the other. All of them have all that stuff. Also, so does the phone in your pocket. That's amazing. That's that is amazing, but that won't continue. That will become more and more the case, and it'll be less like, well, the only reason we'd ever make a new Star Fox game is if we, invented some completely new technology that, you have to hang from the ceiling to play the game. Yeah, so I am looking forward to a post-hardware thinking Nintendo where they're thinking as much. It isn't that I haven't appreciated the innovation that they've always pushed forward. I think they're one of the companies that have brought us to this point where every machine is this miracle of modern technology. They were part of that, but that's because they think about the way that the software melts with that, and you don't have to have a whole revolution in hardware in order to kind of reinvent that relationship, I don't think, between software and hardware. So I want to see them, feel free. I want new generations of developers in Nintendo to feel free to explore those franchises, those dormant franchises, without fear of repeating themselves. I don't want them to not make an F-Zero just because, oh, well, what gimmick will it have? You know,
Yeah,
what
I
will be
was
the
gonna
new?
say, what gimmick will the new games have though?
You mean like Mario
Yeah,
Kart Double Dash, where you switch between characters back and forth on one cart?
right. And
Yeah.
that's and that's okay, right? Because
Right.
that's a software-based gimmick. That was a design purely within the software to
Right.
try something new, and that's fine too. What I don't like, what I'm objecting to, is this idea of well, let's just not make any sequel at all because we can't think of any gimmick.
Well,
Like
isn't that
Yeah,
what they
that's
want?
not required. We don't
Yeah.
you don't have to have a
we
gimmick.
can't
That's
make
not the only
much better
justification.
graphics than the last game. We can't just have a good story or
Yeah,
good
well,
gameplay.
yeah, we can't just have more of the same but better. Who wants that?
It's got to be newer, fresher,
Hey, so I think it's weird
quadruple A games.
that only some of the games are backwards compatible. I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know if you read that little blip, but it's like I'm not sure.
It's so they can re-release games. And
Re-release.
feel
They're
like
like,
it's,
oh, your
you have to
Zelda
buy
doesn't
the
work anymore.
$60
Oh, that's what I was
game.
gonna say. I mean, that's kind of what they did with Zelda, which I thought was cool. I don't know if you
I
read
heard
or
Half-Life Alex is
Hold
cool.
on.
I don't know.
sorry, somebody posted. I heard Half-Life Alex is cool. I'm not sure if you played that one, Wes. I haven't played it.
A little secret. I don't actually like VR. Like, I don't spend any of my time with it. Just for me, it's really it's too fiddly and awkward, and
It's not there yet.
it's not immersive in the way that I'm looking for. Yeah, like maybe someday it will be, but right now I'm just there are some people who right now is more than good enough. Like when they put that on, they're like, "Wow, this is amazing," and they spend hours in it.
Yeah.
For me, I put it on and I'm just like, it's uncomfortable, it's fiddly, I can't see where I'm going, I don't have the physical space. It dries my eyes out because you don't get any.
I wish there was a little
it's
bit more
warm, yeah.
peripheral on it. Like I hate
Well,
that you
and
feel
that
like you're
too,
in a
that-
tunnel.
To me, that's the two major problems: is overall resolution. There's still, even on the highest ones, there's a lot of screen door effect, and then the peripheral vision. It's like, okay, well, yeah, it's like racing a car, but it's like racing a car with swim goggles on, or
Welding goggles.
welding
Yeah, I'm just like,
goggles. Even worse.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I've used the Oculus. What's it called? The portable one. My
Oculus
brother
2?
bought one. I've used an Oculus before. It's fun, kind of, for a bit, but I mean, at the same time, yeah, you kind of have to gear up for it, and then it's like, for me, I could only play for short bursts.
Yeah, I lost interest pretty quick. The kids liked it for a long time. I played the Star Wars installments. I don't know if you played that game, but I thought that was pretty fun. But
Yeah,
even,
the Darth Vader
even then, playing that game reminded me of just like the beginning of video games and their evolution. So like just because it's all clunky and they haven't figured it out yet. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the
of course.
evolution of just how that's going to work is different. Anyway. Cool. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be fun. I mean, I never got the OLED one. I stuck with the original one. That's actually you bought for me, Wes. I mean, I paid you back, but you pre-ordered 2 of them, and I bought that one from you because I forgot to pre-order it.
Yeah, that's my one niggle. I'm not into that. I don't like that. The OLED should be the standard now, and it feels like they're doing it to double dip, right? Because it feels like on some level they know that they can reserve that OLED version because it already worked once
Yeah.
for later. And if it were the case that I think that they needed to do it to hit the price point, maybe they do. But Nintendo is they're the only people who make a profit on their consoles, always have, because they undershoot. They underpower the consoles compared to what they could do at the time, so that they can at least break even. So
I don't think they've announced any specs on it, have they? So we have no idea, for the most part.
yeah, we don't actually know definitively. It's just it's thought to be just an LCD, or just a standard backlit LCD, which I think is disappointing.
That is disappointing. Speaking of disappointing, spooky ghost. we're collecting video games for a long time. This is a sad story about somebody broke into your storage unit. So I don't know. Did you ever find out?
How?
No, not how, but everything that they took. Do you know of? I mean, for the most part.
Yeah, I think I was able to construct a list of what they got. But yeah, in terms of video games, it was. I think they took 2 of the bins that I had. They had all my Game Boys, DSs, 3DS stuff. None of the DS and onward games were in there, but all of my Game Boy Color and Game Advance games were in. So they got those too. But yeah, it's something like 35 different consoles from over the years.
Stolen in one bin.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, same thing's happening to me somehow. I was telling you earlier, I can't find a Super Nintendo. Me. A guy with 300 and whatever Super Nintendo games. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. So I gotta buy a new Super Nintendo now, which drives me nuts. And then the classy man came over last week, and I was like, what would be fun? Power Pad. Let's play the Nintendo Power Pad. I can't find it. Like, it's gone. So the good news is Power Pads are super cheap. So like $20 in the box. So I just need to buy another one. But it's just disheartening, like that people stole your stuff out of storage. Anyway, I don't know where Mickey went, but he disappeared. Which is okay. That's Mickey for you. Man, anything else exciting going on? I mean, you and I did not get into the Nintendo thing in Texas, which sucks. I do know somebody who did. So the preview for the Switch 2. There's Mickey. They usually give out some good stuff. So you're going to see that crap for a ridiculous amount of price online. Which sucks.
Yeah, a ridiculous amount.
It depends, though, right? I mean,
it does depend.
They've been real inconsistent.
Stingy.
The
They've been
past
stingy
decade or so for as far as swag goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last good one was the Wii U, or at least that's the last good one we all went to. You were there with us, right, for that one? We got the little pins.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to collect them all.
Yeah, you had to play every
and
single
that made
game.
sense too, because they gave you a little holder thing.
Yeah.
And the only way to get each pin was to visit and play that demo. So it was a way to actually encourage people to visit all of the.
You gotta see all our crap if you want the free stuff.
I mean,
yeah,
it was a good gimmick.
I really enjoyed when Miyamoto came out on stage waving the Wiimote like it was a sword with the shield.
Oh, I forgot about that. I think Wes, you and I were there for that one too, weren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's when we found out. You told us about the bear.
I miss
E3. I think you're working on your bear thing.
Oh, the Wes Bear.
The Wes Bear.
I don't know if anybody knows about that. The one that was for teaching and it was your voice.
Oh, yeah, it was a dog, actually.
Oh, sorry, the West Dog. Mickey keeps saying bear, so I don't know if anybody knows about that.
I knew it was a stuffed animal of some sort.
Yeah. So there's a Teddy Ruxpin dog. I don't know, is that a good
kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a cheap knockoff. Teddy Ruxpin.
and what is the name of it? Can people still find it?
No, it hasn't been on Amazon.
Well, they made it hip and cool now. It's like Bow Wow Diggity Dog, and it raps in Wes's voice.
It never rapped. Did it?
It does now. They're trying to make it hip, like Poochie.
Like Poochie. You remember Poochie?
Poochie the
Poochie.
Man. Simpsons reference. Everybody, Poochie.
I must leave. My home planet needs me.
Well, now Poochie's cool.
That's actually not the dog that I'm referencing. The Poochie that I remember goes back farther than that.
I'm talking Simpsons. What Poochie are you talking about?
There was a Poochie during the 80s that was actually, I think it was a dub of an anime.
Yeah, I was thinking Simpsons, and I think you were thinking Simpsons.
Is it pink?
Yeah.
I just looked it up. Yeah, it's Google Poochie 80s.
Oh, no, I was like, the West Dog. Anyway, you did all the music for it, all the voices for it. And I always wanted to find one. And he
laid his own sick beats.
I think you did all the instruments too.
Rhymes.
You did like that's what
Me.
That's because
Yeah.
you have crappy internet.
No, it froze for me too, so
Yeah.
it might be the storm.
I might be the one hosting.
Yeah, there is a storm happening near my house. So if we lose connection, it's all good. All right. Speaking of which, I guess we're still, on the Nintendo topic. Wes, you still have a crap load of NES stuff, or is that all gone?
No, I still have all that stuff that I had. My collection wasn't never as complete as yours, but
Well, you haven't seen any of the other podcasts, but I've started cataloging
It's actually more complete.
it. So, what I've done is every podcast I pick, Xbox or this, and then I categorize all of them. We talk about it. So, I did NES last time, but this is how I found out I'm missing a bunch of crap, which also really disappoints me. So anyway, I have 406 NES items, games, consoles, and that kind of stuff. So a little over like 380 games. Any guesses on my most expensive items, just for fun? Mickey, you cheat. I think we talked about this playing a game.
Yeah, I'm sure. Go ahead. You get it, Wes. It's all you.
Yeah, Wes. What is the most expensive game in my NES library? And then I also have the console's number 2 actually for expensive. Which is
really?
weird. Yeah. So, but it's a console that Perfect Liz bought for me for like my birthday one year, complete. I'll just say it with Rob the Robot. So I guess it's called the Test Market console. So it's the black face with just the Rob the Robot face on it. And I think she bought it for like $180. Back in the day,
Nice.
not that much. That is worth $700 now. So
Nice.
yeah, that has appreciated.
Well, I know you've got Action 52.
I do. I have that one
And-
signed, but that one's actually that's not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be more expensive.
I don't know if you.
Some of these I'm surprised, but one of them just really blows everything else.
Yeah,
out of the water.
there's. I mean, I looked at the list 2 or 3 months ago of
you?
the ones that are the most expensive, and some of them are definitely like. Really?
Are you that detailed? Not detailed. Interested in the ones that are 5 screw versus the 2 screw? Have you gotten that deep into the?
No,
what's
I know to
interesting?
stop myself.
Yeah, on price charting. Well, I didn't know until a little while ago that for some reason some 5 screws are worth more, and some 5 screws are worth less. Don't ask me why. So anyway, I had Alara help me go through every one of these, so she read them off. I typed them in, and it's kind of cool. Is they give you the option to put 5 screw on there now, so you can see the difference of price. It's kind of fun. So I'm like, oh, that's cool.
well,
I didn't realize I had even
what
had
what tool is this that you're using?
price charting.
Price chart.
So pricecharting.com.
Price sharding?
Yeah, price charting, like
Price
CHA.
chart.
Sharding. Yes, price sharding. Anyway, so the whole collection of just NES games is $13,848. And that doesn't include the accessories that I have not put in yet. And then for some reason, Yo Noid doesn't show up in there. So I'm not sure how much Yo Noid is, but I think it's only like $10. That's not a big deal. But the number one most expensive game I have is Flintstones Surprise at Dinosaur Peak.
Ooh.
So I bought that for $5 at a GameStop, just randomly, and I took a gamble because
That's what it's actually worth.
yeah, is what it's actually worth.
AI Tom is very into price charting.
Yes, well, I'm trying to. I keep accidentally buying the same game every once in a while because I'll be, in my head I'm like, I really need this game, and then I'll buy it and I forget I bought it, and then 6 months later it's just still in my head that I need to buy it. And if I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This happened Wave Race the other day, which upsets me. But so doing this is also helping me not make the mistake. Like once you get to a certain point, you're like, do I have this game? And especially with some of the games that I've got stolen or missing, I got to keep anyway. So Flintstones Surprise at Dinosaur Peak is $1,188, which is insane.
Yes, it is.
So number, I told you the Test Market console, Chippendales Rescue Rangers 2, $350, which is interesting. Gunak.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Why is Gunak expensive, man? That is not wasn't a hard to find game. $300 for Gunak. It's not even that cool of a game. Snow Brothers 286, DuckTales 2 285. Huh?
It's got space rabbits.
What has space rabbits?
Gun neck.
Yeah, yeah. There's carrots on the front of the box.
Moon rabbits.
Yeah, I got my original NES action set console that my parents bought me in 1986 or whatever. That's worth 264. The Action 52 is only 230, and then Turtles 3, the one that I mowed lawns to buy back in the day, since I have it complete since I bought it at 235. Tournament Fighters 200, Secret Scout 200, top loading NES is 200. Lolo 3, 157. Sunday Fun Days, 154. Mega Man 5, for some reason, 142. And then I've got, Zelda, Metroid, Yellow Label, Wampum, Frankenstein, The Monster Returns, Contra Force. Those are all, $130, $140. Kind of fun. I do need, I don't know, you know this, Wes. I have this complete Metroid shelf with everything, but I have the Metroid Yellow Label in the box, but I don't have the original one, so that's on my list of things to acquire.
You don't have the original one in the box or otherwise?
I think all I have is the Yellow Label one, complete.
I'm pretty sure the one I had was my original cartridge, but
I don't know what happened to that one. I think I let somebody borrow it and it disappeared. Ghost Lion, that game sucks. That's $113. The Power Glove. Any guesses on the price on a Power Glove?
At least $5.
$97.50.
Man, I got it.
You did get it.
Got it in one.
okay. So where do they come up with these prices?
So if you click on each one of them, it shows where they're listed and what they've sold for, and then it shows a balance of the top and the bottom of just the average.
I
So
see.
value, count, cost, and profit. So you can even put in your cost in there and see your profit and loss. It's kind of cool. So it'll show you listings right below each item that you click on. Now, are they completely 100% accurate? Probably not, but I mean, it's still kind of a fun,
Sure.
way to do it. So anyway, so far, I think I've done 2 racks, and we're up to $55,717 with 910 items I have put in so far. So,
Man, you could buy a really cool boat with that much
should
money.
I go buy the Malibu or
Yo, go buy another boat.
Brian, I don't remember Brian. He has the $200,000 boat, so let's just use his fancy boat.
Just use that fancy
Yeah.
boat.
Last year's original Metroid, unlockable Metroid Prime 1, not on the card. I forgot you could unlock Metroid on Metroid Prime. Totally forgot about that. You remember that?
Wait,
Wes?
you can play as Metroid and Metroid?
No. The original game is on there. You have to unlock it. I totally forgot you could do that. That's badass. Mirrored 6-in-1. I don't know if I have that one. Sorry, I'm reading chat too. I might. Batman Return of the Joker is surprisingly $85. Oh, I have a complete U-Force in the box, by the way. $77.43. That thing was effing garbage. Arkanoid controller, $70. I've got a Freedom Stick wireless remote control in the box. No, nobody played the Freedom Stick. It's kind of like the Advantage, but crappier. So anyway, there's a lot of fun games. Like going through these games, I'm like, God, there was a lot of really badass effing Nintendo games.
So I'm trying to find
What are you looking for?
the top loader you were talking about because I have one sealed in the box.
Mine's not in the box. So just the console
Unbelievable.
by itself is $199.95. And if you
Yeah.
go to, you can select. What's kind of cool is you can select if you have the manual. You can select if it's complete. You can select if it's new in the box, and it'll give you the value or
Okay, here it is.
something
I
like
found
that.
it.
Yeah. How much is it? How much is in the box? I don't have a box one. I'm jealous.
Blues complete in box.
Like for in box is insane. $1,000?
Yeah. $550, $899.
Look, what's their total value?
$899 with the receipt.
With the receipt. Dude, does it really say with the receipt?
Yes, matching serial / receipt.
I can't believe I did that. So, I don't know if you know this, but I would buy games where we worked, Wes.
Yeah.
And, to prove that I bought it, I always put the receipt in the game. So half my games have the receipt for purchases in all these things because I would just like slip it in there. So anyway,
Well, it's
that's
probably less of a factor for something that's not, sealed in the box.
yeah. Well, you know what I mean. Are you looking at fun stuff to see if it's worth a bunch of money?
No, that's probably the jewel of at least my NES stuff, is that sealed top loader. So.
Oh, wait, it's not even opened.
No, it's not.
Oh, well, did you look up the new in box price, not the complete?
Well, this says CIB. Is that not complete in box?
Is it? Let me see. Add another copy. I'm just gonna look right here. Item only. No, CIB is complete in box, new and sealed.
Okay.
And then there's graded new if you have it graded. Yeah, complete in box is just like you have all the stuff. So it's about to be astronomical here.
Yeah, I guess it says $1,000.
Called
There's
it.
one listing for 2,000, but that's probably overshooting. There's one for 2,500.
So the average price is kind of what it goes by. So about $1,000. How ridiculous! How ridiculous is it that my stupid Flintstones game, not in the box, is worth more than your badass top loader, new in the box? I don't get it.
It's kind of bullshit.
It's just how the market is. It's just how it goes.
If you're some crazy person with more money than sense out there, and you're trying to put together a complete NES collection in this day and age, you just gotta have the Flintstones.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
That's what it's worth for you.
Where was I going? I was going somewhere with that. Now I can't remember. Crap. It's gotta come
Any
to me here
big
in a second.
plans for the weekend?
Sniffer.
I work on weekends.
Yeah, I'm actually working Saturday too. So.
Yeah, so no big plans. I do, Wes. I'm gonna install that Nintendo game, or the Turtles game. Now that we're talking about it, so I'm kind of excited about playing that. If you say it doesn't suck, because I can't stand.
Well, it's a Rogue Light. I don't know what the difference is. I'm not that familiar with Rogue, but have you played Hades by any chance?
Yes. I think I have it on my phone actually. Oh,
Really?
Speaking of which, are phones with TikTok really selling for lots of money? Is that a thing?
I don't know. Yeah, because you can't download it on the US App Store anymore. And a lot of people, when they were like, "Oh, it's blocked," they deleted the app, and then
I have one with TikTok on it because I never use it. I'm thinking about if I can sell it. I want to get a new one because mine's a 14. So if I can get $1,000 for it or more, then take my TikTok. I don't care.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I'll never use it. Anyway, I just didn't know if you heard if that's actually legit or it's BS.
It's the first I've heard of it. But
Dude, Wes, you might care or not on this one. Grapevine Mills. So Grapevine Mills is when I first started working for EB Games. So I worked at that store, always busy on weekends especially. So my daughters have tumbling class because they have that big gym in Grapevine Mills now. Probably don't know about that. So I walk around while they're doing that.
what the hell else would they do with it?
Who the hell knows?
Put boards in there?
Yeah. I go into the GameStop that's in the Grapevine Mills Mall, and it's the dirtiest, shittiest. Like I should have put pictures on here, but I was like, maybe they just had a busy effing weekend. I'm going there on Tuesdays, and there's trash on the floor, and next Tuesday it's still there. I'm like, who the hell is running? So I looked it up. So for one, like half the shelves are empty. Like they're just, and then like half of it's clearance on the floor. It's garbage. Like it's the worst thing ever. I don't go to GameStops anymore, but now we know why. I was like, who the fuck is the manager here? Because this is just I'm embarrassed for GameStop. Like embarrassed.
Tom went into full Karen mode.
I didn't say anything to anybody, but yeah. Well, it just hurts my soul because we had like hundreds of games that we had to put on the shelves, and now they just have these tiny little rows of games, and then this garbage all over the place, like the stuff from ThinkGeek that they didn't take the cool stuff. So anyway, I looked up. I'm like, hey, what do they pay managers these days? Maybe they just bottomed it out. It's like $21 an hour, and you have to manage 3 GameStops. So it's not even one GameStop. You manage 3 at a time at $21 an hour. Perfect Liz managed the Denton GameStop and made much more just with one store. And that was 20 years ago. So that's pretty messed up. they're not going to be around like that. I hate to say it. It used to be my
I think we knew that already.
21 an hour to run 3 stores. Why would so basically somebody's just jerking off and not doing their job because nobody cares because they only pay them 21 an hour. You can make more at McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, you've heard about their
Locked in.
I don't know if it's still a thing, but it was a thing a few months ago. Their retro initiative.
Dude, I went to one of them and it was an effing joke. Like they had maybe 50 games and I was like, this is the retro section. It was like a couple of DS games, a couple of Xbox 360 games, and like just nothing. It was nothing.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like I walked by it and I was like, I just kept walking. I was like, wait, this is the retro section? Yeah, you guys are going
That
down.
was the retro section.
Yeah, so absolute garbage. From Babbage's to Electronic Books, EB Games, GameStop, all same locations. That's where I lived. Serper Knight. Sorry, I'm reading some of the chat. But anyway, I'm glad Nintendo kept physical options. You know, I know, Wes, you don't do physical that much anymore just because of, space and money and time. But what's up?
Well, I was just thinking about the lineage of those stores. So I remember it going Babbage's.
Funko Land.
Yeah, that was actually the up and comer though. But there was Babbage's, and then there was Software Etc.
Yeah.
Those were the mall. software
Limited
stores.
Edition Jason worked at Software Etc. at Vista Ridge Mall, by the way.
So did I.
What?
Not at the same time.
No, not at the same time. Well, I mean, that's actually how
You guys
we
could have
met.
been best friends
Well,
and not even known.
I mean, that's what happened. I mean, that's how I met Wes. Is they were hiring for a better position closer to my house. So Wes and I worked at the Highland Village EB Games, which, God, their discounts were effing amazing because we got to use all the discounts they offered everybody else on top of our employee discount. Like they treated us pretty well.
Fourth MG says Circuit City.
Yeah, I never really bought games there.
Circuit City, yeah, not quite the same thing. Like kind of a
Toys
big
R
box
Us. Toys
store.
R Us, yes. I mean, Toys R Us was a competitor when it came to the space, for sure.
Yeah.
I still love your last day at work, man. You're like, I don't like these games anymore, and you returned just game. You just returned them. Like you didn't even try to trade them in. You're like, I'm gonna return these things. I'm like, okay, it's your last day. I don't care. You don't remember
These
that?
don't bring me joy.
I don't remember it quite that way. I do remember though selling the store a shit ton of compact discs because we bought them.
Yeah,
But the rules about what they were worth were really
they were vague.
fuzzy.
You could interpret them a little bit.
Yeah, like they didn't really do the legwork of actually having a set catalog of values. It was most CDs you'd put in, and the system would be like,
We don't know.
"I don't- "What do you think?"
$20. Well, the secret to collecting for me at that time was when they would open new stores, because I would go set up the new store and all the cool stuff from the warehouse would be sent there. So I'd be like,
So
okay.
you just take it home.
No, we would buy them. I'm not going to steal them. But I'm like, oh, hey, that's Rival Schools. I will not put that
It
on
never
the shelf.
showed up.
Yeah. I will be buying that, sir. So that's how I got a lot of the fun ones that are hard to find. Is it's just like, I volunteer. Let me open a store. No
First
problem.
pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the pick of the litter from all the really cool stuff before it disappeared. So obviously you'll not be able to do that anymore.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore though, because why do that?
KB
when
Toys
they
had some
just
interesting
save
stuff.
The money.
Yeah, but KB Toys wasn't as hard. I mean, they had some fun stuff there though. I know their discounts were good because they clearance things out because nobody bought games there. Anyway, well, old school thoughts here.
Let's reminisce. You guys played DuckTales lately?
Dude, you
my-
were
that's
thinking
my
about playing
go-to.
it. Your DuckTales is
That's
your
my
go-to?
That's my go-to reminiscing game.
Self-reference.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
He doesn't even mean what he's saying. Like he's asking if you played DuckTales lately. That's an open call for nostalgic topics.
Just DuckTales in general. No, all good, man. I mean, we're about on the hour, unless you guys got some other fun topics to talk about. Oh, what games do you want to see on the Switch 2? Anything interesting? Maybe Geist 2? That would be an interesting one.
Look, I'm not really looking
Sure.
forward to it because that means I have to buy a system.
While we're at it, let's just say something crazy like Eternal Darkness 2 or
Yeah. Good luck with that one. I still can't believe there's not an F-Zero coming out anytime soon. But what are you gonna do?
yeah, and I wonder to what extent F-Zero 99 plays into the fate of the series at all. Like
If it was
if-
popular, then
if-
they would bring it
yeah,
back.
if anybody's going to take that as a litmus test for the popularity of the series, or if they're really not thinking that way at all, and it's kind of a throwaway project, kind of like it feels like they do with their online games. I mean, they made that Mario 35 thing
Right.
that everybody loved,
Sonic 352.
and they just pulled the plug on it, as they said they were going to.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when, in this day and age, to see anybody who's got that kind of mind share, right? Anybody who puts anything out that's that popular, have the chutzpah to then just can it in the height of its popularity, whether they said they were going to or not. I can't think of any other company that would do that.
They could
It's
save
just
some
they have
money.
that kind of abandon. They were like, we're artists. We wanted to create a phenomenon, and we did.
And we pulled it out. We just let it go.
And now we'll never be able to play it again. And so the next time we come out with something like that, you'll know. See today.
Some people are suggesting a 3D Donkey Kong, Yoshi, or a 3D Kirby, which there hasn't been a 3D Kirby. There was a 3D Kirby on the 3DS.
3D Donkey Kong, like
There's been a
Donkey
3D
Kong
Kirby's.
64.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Donkey
Yeah, I
Kong
was gonna say,
64 was a thing.
Kirby came
This
on
is
the
from
64.
Vibber 15. He was just a 3D Yoshi game. I don't know about that one. Battletoads, guest characters kill Snake. I can't believe they remade Killer Instinct, man. I was so happy about that, but it just seemed like it was dead until just they pulled that out, and they've been supporting it still, which is crazy. But it's not Nintendo though; that's Xbox.
relatively dead.
Yeah, well, I mean they just I guess that was 6 months ago, but they had that.
There was an anniversary update.
Yeah.
But actually, there is still some love for it. I know there was a community tournament at Frosty Faustings last week.
I don't know what that is.
There were one or two, players from the old days, the actual like release window when that game was getting updates and having seasons,
Right.
as one does these days. So it's still in people's hearts. I think there's still a fan base for it. I would certainly love to see them take another crack at it. I think the game, design-wise, turned out brilliant. I think the only thing that was really holding it back, was the fact that the whole thing started on a proprietary engine created for 360.
Right.
And that hobbled the entire way. They were just trying to do what they could with it to make it look modern, but just struggling with the lighting and the overall emotions of the engine. It did not help that the original developer got bought by Amazon and washed their hands of it. But I think that Iron Galaxy did an amazing job of designing the game and balancing the game. Artistically, it's kind of a mixed bag. Like visually, it's a mixed bag. But I think another game following in its footsteps could be amazing. And I think that if you
Squirrel with a gun too.
it could practically be Squirrel with a Gun too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for that chime in, Mickey.
Hey, I'm here to help.
Well, cool, man. Well, it's good to see you on. It's been a minute. Hopefully you'll come visit here pretty soon. Or we'll go to SeaWorld again. That was pretty fun.
Well, climb in the Game Heroes bus and go down to San Antonio.
Yeah.
The Game Heroes bus. the van, the Game Heroes van.
It's actually it's an Olive Garden
Spinners.
van.
It's a wagon. Wood paneling. No seatbelts.
Shaggin' wagon.
Yeah, the safest thing ever. God, I was going to say something, and I'm looking around the room trying to remember what I was going to talk about, but I'm losing my...
Virtua Fighter 5.
What is Virtual Fighter?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a Sega thing, isn't it? Or was that
Yeah. Well, you know, they just
Bot?
released the no, they just released Virtua Fighter 5 Revo, just like a remaster of Virtua Fighter 5.
I haven't messed with it. I've kind of been
So were you ever into Virtua Fighter at all?
the ones in the arcade 1 and 2, but I was never really into it. Past that. Soul
Yeah.
Calibur was my jam. I would love to see Link again in Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
He was so kicked everybody's ass though in that game.
Yeah, Soul Calibur has kind of fallen by the wayside.
That's been
bit.
gone for a while. So Soul Calibur,
Yeah. I don't know what happened really. I wasn't really following like the fighting game space during the years where it fell out of favor.
right?
It's
God, I can't
not
remember.
high on the
I was
list
gonna
now.
pull something out and talk about it, and now I'm losing my mind. It was kind of cool too. Anyway, well, I guess we'll wrap it up. Wes, thanks for joining. Love to see you again sometime when you have time to hang out. Hopefully, Jared didn't fry his computer. He got some new cables, and now his computer's not booting up. So that is why we are sans Jared at Dead or Alive Extreme 4.
Yeah, according to AI, what was it? If you suspect your PSU cables are plugged in wrong, it's crucial to double check the connections and ensure they're properly seated in both the PSU and the components they power. Jared found that very helpful.
Well, there's also another thing that can go wrong. And that is when you're changing out the power supply in a computer, if you just assume that you can use the cables from the previous power supply, that can be problematic sometimes.
We'll let
So I don't know.
we'll let the classy man know.
So if he didn't have the right cables, or he got confused, if he had more than one set
Hmm.
and used the wrong cables, that might explain why he's absent.
that oh, like I said, he just built that beast, so hopefully that works. What about Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball 2?
I played one of those games a little bit.
Yeah, well, anyway.
First one. Remember, actually, to me, the only problem with it was that the actual volleyball mechanics were like so weird. They were really weird. Like they were trying to skirt around making a sports game, for obvious reason.
Right,
But to actually play the volleyball, it was like there was like a. It's kind of like that fighting game, the minimalist fighting game they made called Dive Kick. You seen that game?
I haven't seen that one.
I'm
Yeah, so
looking it up
there's
now.
an independent fighting game called Dive Kick, and it has two buttons per player. One button is dive, which is actually jump, and the other one is kick.
Yeah.
And that's all you do in the game. And that's kind of how the
Pretty
Dead or
intuitive.
Alive volleyball is. Yeah, you're like, how is this? How am I even playing?
Dive
You don't.
Kick.
Yeah.
It's $5 on Steam.
Do you have a copy of Dive Kick?
I do not, but I was just thinking about another game that's an independent fighting game that's mentioned often in the same breath, which is Footsies. Have you played Footsies?
No.
Okay, so you got to check out those games. We'll talk about them next time. I don't know
Footsies.
how in tune the current Game Heroes audience is with fighting games, how acute their interest is, and that kind of stuff. But regardless, Footsies is a very interesting
A
little
2D
experiment.
black and white where players control character movement horizontally and use one attack button to perform normal and special moves to defeat their opponents.
It's a minimalist fighting game. Some people point to it to say, like, hey, if you want to learn the basics, the fundamentals of fighting games, try this game.
Footsies.
And I think that's true and not true at the same time, because it teaches you conceptually what some of the basics of the neutral, what they call the neutral game in fighting games are.
Right.
But it won't necessarily like train your muscle memory or anything how to react. It just
There's 461 reviews. 410 are very positive.
Thank you, Vicky.
I mean, there's so little there. It's hard not to find it positive. I mean, it's functional and
I really want to write a really
what it
long
is, so.
review,
Hey,
bringing up how
yeah.
this is nothing like King of Fighters 2.
so I think
Well,
Uh-oh.
I've actually read that review because you can go on
Those are the good
Reddit,
reviews.
right? And somebody will go off on how everybody says this teaches you fundamentals and it really doesn't, and there's like this whole spiel. I've read that review.
Well, Serpent Knight said something funny about, I think, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. He said the mechanics were weird, but nobody goes to Hooters for wings.
Well,
Hey,
right.
I
That's I
mean,
kind of caught myself as I started to explain it, and I was like, oh, well,
you
this
get
is
to
a
you get to
stupid
rub the
point I'm
girls
making.
in oil. I mean, you get to be their oil
You got
boy.
yeah. Well, Dumb and Dumber style. The town is that way. Uh,
Wait.
my friend's a little slow. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Wes, I appreciate you having on.
It's fun.
Jared had a ton of games for us to play. I think it would be really fun with you because I think Mickey and Jared haven't really been challenging me as much as the trivia games. I think you can beat me. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that just means he'll have to be on our next podcast.
Right. So hopefully
We're
Jared will have his
guilting
computer
you
fixed.
into it.
Yeah, we're guilting you into the next one. Jared will be back soon. We'll try to schedule another one for a few weeks, and we'll see how that goes. But anything else, guys?
Wait. So
What?
that's what you guys usually do? Trivia? You play trivia?
No, we
We
do a little
play-
bit. So we start out the podcast.
Yeah.
Usually, we talk about what we've been playing, catch up a little bit. Then we watch a classic game commercial. We talk about collecting. Then we have a random subject or news, and we just pick 3 news stories and go over it a little bit.
Jarrett likes to, do trivia games with
And then we-
classic
and then we do-
games,
we
where
do-
it's me, the guy who
Real
does not
variety
have an extensive video game collection, against Tom.
But
That makes sense.
yeah, no,
I usually
they're
get at
fun
least
games.
1 point.
I think what I like the most is the draft. I don't know if you've seen us do that yet, Wes, but what we'll do is
I've
we'll be
yet to win a draft.
we'll have a draft like a NFL fantasy draft. So like what was snake draft, and we'll pick like 1984 or
Like
1986.
games that came out in '86.
Yeah,
Best
or
games.
this certain categories, and then I'll be like, I got Ninja Gaiden 3 and Legend of Zelda, and there's like a role playing category of like it's pretty fun. And at the end, we have the 3 lists,
Okay.
and then we let people vote on them to see who won the draft.
And every time, Tom and Jared always win. Even though the last time everyone loved like a majority of the games on my list, but you just had like one game where like that's a classic,
Yep.
and then they pick you because one game on the full list. I'm not bitter.
Sounds like you need to maybe revise the mechanics a little bit.
Somebody was in the tester, so I think
Oh my
maybe
God.
PlayStation games.
My coworker found out about that, and then he proceeded to Google everything about 8-Bit Mickey and try to talk to me about. And this is like a 20-year-old kid. He's just like, yo, oh, I loved it. You were on the tester, man. And I was like, man, that was like in 2016. That was like almost 10 years ago.
Totally worth it though.
Anywho,
You should
It was
show
fun.
them the ass in class video where you're in a
no,
speedo.
that's staying away from my office. Who do you guys want to raid?
I don't know who we got.
Well, I'm clicking on who we're
Fourth MG
following.
goes for the thighs and breasts. Good call, Fourth MG.
We got 3 Legs. He is doing Flintlock, Siege and Dawn.
I don't
We
know
got
what that is.
VV Minerva doing Dark Souls 3. Marvel Rivals with Lane Couture.
you.
We also have the art guy doing Drawn Birds. He's the one that drew Jared as a bird.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
We got I Kirsten doing Marvel Rivals. Last Ditch is doing Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Yeah, we do Last Ditch. Let's do Last Ditch.
Let's do Last Ditch.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining, Wes. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon. Come visit. You can beat me at some video games.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, we should do a group gameplay together too, or something. Let's do Chain Together.
Do you have Chain Together?
You should get Chained Together. It's like $5.
I've never
okay.
played it, but I've downloaded it. I don't know if it's any good.
It's you just climb.
it's like
really hard to
$1.99.
climb stuff, and you're chained together. So it's like if you jump too
Yeah,
far,
no, I've
you all
heard
fall.
of it. I have heard of it.
Yeah, I haven't played it, so it'll be a new experience for you and I. So maybe we'll do that one day when you have time.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Have a